together, and welcome back to another episode of Sit and Spin with me, your host, Joe Royland. And welcome to our final show for 2016. Been a great year for music, absolutely shit year for deaths in music and celebritydom in general. Just this past week alone, we lost Johhny Monaco and Carrie Fisher and a few other people. But you know what? I don't want to get into that. Don't want to bum myself out. Let's talk about some more positive stuff, like the new release from Enuff Z'Nuff, Clown's Lounge. Enuff Z'Nuff, a band I'm psyched to be able to talk about. A band I have been a long-time fan of since pretty much way back in the beginning. I actually got to spend time with the group back in the day. The first band to ever give me a laminated tour pass to be able to go check them out on the entire tour. Had some great times with them. I will probably include some pictures from nights that we hung out together. I look awful in them. They're embarrassing in that respect. The clothes I'm wearing, you think my hair was atrocious before this, wait till you see this stuff. But good times were had nonetheless. But Enuff Z'Nuff, long have I loved this band. Other music aficionados definitely love the band too. A band that has had so much promise and potential and such rotten damn luck. The only band I can think has had worse bad luck than them over the years is maybe Def Leppard. But this is a group that, and granted, you know, some of that rotten stuff, some of the bad things that happened to them is on them. They've had some issues with substance abuse and other things. They have suffered and survived the deaths of two of their previous members. The late guitarist Derek Frigo passed away in 2004 of a drug overdose, and drummer Ricky Parent, who died in 2007 of cancer. Bad career advice early on in their career. They were basically told that even though their roots were kind of more in like power pop and glam rock from the early 70s, they were basically told, hey, MTV's not going to play you because they kind of don't know what to do with the sound you have unless you look like what's out there now. And so they adopted the look of the popular bands of the time, groups like Motley Crue and Poison, and they had the glam image with the makeup, the hairspray, hair teased all to hell. And, you know, day glow colors, as you can tell from this vintage shirt I'm wearing from back in the day. And at the time, it worked. You know, it got them MTV airplay. It got them on the air, on the radio. It got them on TV. It got them some early hit singles and songs like New Thing and Fly High Michelle. But then, in the ensuing years, time shifted, tastes changed, and all of a sudden, that's out. And now it's backfiring that they followed that advice. And I believe it was lead singer Donnie Vie once in an interview I read said, you know, if we had just stuck to our original look, which was not too different from the Black Crowes, who were kind of coming up around the same time, people would still regard us the same way that they do them, but they don't because they just look with their eyes and not their ears. And it's true, and it's a shame because Enuff Z'Nuff have made nothing but great records over the years. I love all of them. I've been a fan of all of them, and anytime something new comes out from the band, I get really excited. Hence, with like this new release, Clown's Lounge, out now on Frontiers Record. This just got released back earlier in December. It is the group's 13th studio album, their first since 2010's Dissonance, not counting the covers album Covered in Gold, which came out back in 2014. And while I say it's their newest album, it's not necessarily new, as most of the material on this record dates back to 1988, 1989, when the band was demoing material for their self-titled debut on Atco Records in 1989. And songs on this album, such as Runaway and Round and Nothing and Backstreet Kids, have been circulating online for years in bootleg demos, although this is the first time that it's an official release of them, and it's the best they've ever sounded. Now, some folks are going to take offense with that. They don't like the fact when bands dip into their older material to re-release it as new material. That happened with the last Van Halen album. And for me, I look at it like this. To me, this is music from a group I love that I didn't have before that now I do. So that's always a good thing, especially when it's quality material. And secondly, why shouldn't Ships Enough and Company make money off these tunes, as they're great songs and they deserve to be heard? And, you know, if there's circulated out there free, why not put them out better sounding and a better material release that you can get yourself? So I'm also a fan of that. And also, this is not the first time that the band has dipped back into the well of unused back catalog stuff. Their 1985 album from 1994 was essentially the group's original indie demo, Hollywood Squares, reissued with one new track. The Peach Fuzz album from 1996 was similar in this respect that it contained B-sides and bonus tracks and other unused material, a lot of it from 1993's Animals Human Intelligence record that had gone on that album. The album 7 from 1997 and previously been released in Japan only under the Donnie and Chip band name and titled Brothers 3 years prior to it getting released in the States. And the Question Mark album from 2004. Similarly, same type of thing. Here's some previously unreleased recordings along with some new stuff. So the band have gone this route before. It's not anything new to anybody who's a fan, but again, I don't care. It's music I didn't have that I do now. This is a good thing. The other plus to this is that because these songs date back to that time, most of these song performances are all from the classic era of the band. I'm gonna say classic and not original because there were original members of the band that weren't on their major label debut. I'm not going to get into the long history of the newest band members this group has had because that would make this an even longer show than it's going to be. But it's the classic line of the band with Chip Z'Nuff on bass and vocals, Donnie Vie on vocals and lead guitar, the late Derek Frigo on lead guitar, I should say, Donnie vocals on just guitar, but the late Derek Frigo on guitar and Vikki Fox on drums. So it's great to hear that classic era of the band on all these songs again. And like I said, these are great tunes. It's good stuff. Now, Donnie Vie over the years has had an on-again, off-and-on relationship with the band. There came a point where he and Chip just weren't getting along. He left, he went solo, he was also having drug problems. But for the most part, even when he left touring with the band, he still remained a member of the group, recording and writing with the band. So he's been on pretty much all of their albums. He just dropped out of touring with the band. I think it just makes it easier for him, makes drug temptations and stuff like that, and just relationships easier. And when he stepped down from touring with the band, vocal duties were taken over by the band's new guitarist, Johhny Monaco, who was Derek Frigo's replacement, who was a great singer in his own right. And he more than ably handled that, and he also has had an on-again, off-again time. He's been into the band, out of the band, and up until just last year, he was still the lead singer of Enuff Z'Nuff. And he shows up on one of the tracks on this album, the song Devil is Shakespeare, which is a great track on this album. It dates back to 2004, featuring him on lead vocals, as well as guest vocals from the late Janie Lane of Warrant, and guest lead guitar work from Styx Axeman James J.Y. Young, who's also played on a Enuff Z'Nuff album before. He's a fellow Chicago native of the band from Chicago suburb area. But currently, Chip Z'Nuff has taken over lead vocals for the group, starting this year, most likely bolstered by feeling better as a lead singer after his own first debut solo album, Strange Time, in 2015. And the album's opening cut, which you already heard, Dog on a Bone, is the album's lone new song. And it's a great tune, although the Here I Come, I Come, I Come is lifted right out of Stone Temple Pilots' Sex type thing, which it's also not the first time that they've gone to Stone Temple Pilots for inspiration either. There's a few songs from the band's back catalog that definitely have an STP influence, and you can hear similarities in it. But otherwise, you know, I can forgive it, even though it's obvious. I can forgive it because it's still a really cool song with a really neat ascending guitar riff. But as for the rest of the tracks, you're hearing some of them now. The band does what they've always done best, delivering Beatlesque power pop with a harder edge a la Cheap Trick, and songs rooted in glam rock, glam metal. And tracks like Runaway is a great song. Although it still sounds a bit dated, it definitely feels like mid to late 80s kind of glam hair metal sounding stuff, as the song Good Love. But songs like the one you're hearing right now, Back in Time, are equally awesome. And if had this tune been featured on one of their earlier albums on a major label, probably would have been a hit. I could say the same for cuts like She Makes It Harder, Radio, and Round, all great tracks. I really dig all these songs, but a couple of standouts on the album for me are the album's lead-off track, Rockabye Dreamland, which is a nice little nugget of psychedelic power pop, and Backstreet Kids, which features a great little rocker and just some really guitar work. But I will say that some of the sound quality on these songs is a little bit rough. You can hear like some of the rougher edges showing through. It's probably cleaned up the best that money could allow for the project, but still miles and miles better than like the previously released bootlegs that are circulating out there. And again, as I stated before, I'm just ecstatic that they're out there in the form that they are now for me to be able to enjoy even better. So great to finally have some new music from Enuff Z'Nuff, even if it's new old music. Just great new stuff out. The album's titled Clown's Lounge is actually a reference. It was the name of a strip club near the recording studio the band were recording it and frequented back at the time, so that's where that comes from. Features some cool artwork. I want to say it's Chip's artwork. It's artwork that I've definitely seen on Cheap Trick album, Enuff Z'Nuff album before Cheap Trick, Cheap Z'Nuff. What are you gonna do? But just really great. All the song lyrics are included. Good stuff. Glad to have something new from Enuff Z'Nuff. Anytime that's out and available, it's a good thing in my book. That is the show for this week. Thanks for sticking around and tuning in, being a part of it this whole year long. We'll be back in next year with some more all new stuff for you. Until then, take it easy, and we'll see you next time. See you then.